Hello and welcome to the Board Game Barrage Podcast, episode number 328. My name is Mark. I am also known as the Green Tank on this podcast, and I'm joined by two other folks who go by... Yeah. Well, no, and around my people, the listeners. I'm sure I'll be referred to as Green Tank at the BGB get-together at Dice Tower West. But there are also two other peoples with nom de plumes that involve military vehicles. And those militarily named folks are Cal the Red Tank.
But see, Red Tank has a little bit of like a Russian thing going on where he might be a double agent.
Commie. You're a commie, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. In online games, I get accused sometimes when I use that as a username.
And then there is the, I guess if you're associating the color with a military thing, you're like the Netherlands tank?
Yeah, and the famous
orange
Dutch military army, they painted all the tanks orange.
That's right.
That's history.
That's where you were inspired, right? To pick color
pretty much.
Exactly.
Your
love affair with the Dutch army?
Yeah, I'm like a huge adherent to military history, and that image, that frightful image, is seared into all my brain, into all our brains, but none more so than mine.
That's true. All right. So on today's episode, we've done a bunch of drafts in the history of the show, and those have always been pretty successful. But we're a board game podcast, and we're just sticking to drafting. What is that all about? There's a lot of different
like we're broing down
out there.
See what I'm saying? Like a fantasy force draft.
Yeah.
Normally you'd expect bros to do that.
Yeah.
So
we're not bros.
Right. So we're returning
we're
back
more than that.
To more than.
Certainly more than. So we're going to expand into other avenues of board gaming. And today we're doing an auction. We're going to do a most anticipated auction, and more details on that later. But before we get into that, we're going to be talking about the games we played. Kellen has played Nyakuza, a title for a game that I wrote out here phonetically because I was freaked out that I was going to say it wrong. And in fact, I think Kellen's not sure about the pronunciation. So I'm going to say, based on his advice, Nyakuza.
My advice?
I was going to say that very much wasn't his advice.
Oh, was it not his advice? Okay, well then I'm going with
Okay, say the word Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Now say Nyakat.
Nyakat.
So Nyakuza.
What did I say? Oh, I said like Nyakuza? Whatever. I'm not going to say title anymore. I'm going to leave it to you when you explain the game shortly. I played a very easy to say game, Hooky. I have no doubt that I'm saying that correctly. And then finally, Neelan will tell us about Altay. Altay?
Altay.
Which I also wrote phonetically, ALT-A, with the very, very... Look, I don't know anything about the game, so I'm not going to slag it off right here, but I have to say that the subtitle, The Dawn of Civilization, is extremely boring to me, but maybe it's a great game. Who knows? I'm as excited as the listener is to hear about it. But Kellen, will you tell us about your game? Whose title, again, I will not say.
Nyakuza is a Dr. Reiner Knizia game. This is a reprint from Cool Mini or Not of a old Reiner Knizia game called Orongo, and it is a review copy that was sent to us by Cool Mini or Not, so thank you for that. Orongo has been on the up and up. Dr. Reiner Knizia, the only true and living doctor, has been on the up and up, right? You can't keep him down. He's never been down, but now he's even more on the up and up. And Orongo is another one of those sort of, you haven't heard of Orongo? Oh, you haven't heard of Tower of Babel? Like, do you even, Dr. Reiner Knizia, are you really a true and living fan if you've never Orongoed? I'd never Orongoed, and then I found out that there was a Japanese cat re-implementation of Orongo happening, and I had to wait for those anthropomorphic Yakuza cats to play, right?
That's what tipped you over the edge.
Yes. I'm not sure if it was the Kuza or the Nya part of this. But this is a very simple game where you are drawing tiles that are establishing marketplace in the water and on the shoreline and giving you different types of goods. And then there is an auction where everyone puts the amount of coins they want to bid, and then they reveal them. And depending on what you bid, you get to place boats and claim those tiles that have come out. What makes the auction so interesting is that if you bid the most, you have to pay all of those coins you used, but you get first dibs and you get to place 3 boats out and claiming the spaces in the game. If you bid second most, you actually get all of your coins back, but you still get 2 boats. So that might actually be the right position to be in. Third place in this auction will get to place 1 boat, but not have to pay. And if you bid 0, all the money that has been used in these auctions, you collect. And that can build up over multiple spots. But if multiple people bid 0, you share that pool of money. Then, there's some sort of adjacency and types of things you're trying to collect. Basically, you need to collect 1 salmon and 1 tuna and then have them be by the shore. And then you build up and build a market stall. So you need a salmon, you need a tuna, and you need it to be by the shore, and you need a connected line of boats in order to make this happen. You get a stall, and you are on your way to the win condition of the game end. Basically, it's a race. And so once you've built all the stalls that you need to build, there is one last stall that you have to build. And if you build it, you will win the game. This is extremely tense and short and super, super great. I think we're about due to do like a Reiner Knizia tier list. And we are not a publisher that works with Reiner Knizia, so we feel like we can make that tier list. But this one is super good. I would say it's really good. I would say there's some production challenges with Nyakuza. There is some challenges with the acrylic boats. There's blue and green and purple and red. I think there's blue-green problems because the whole board is blue. So the green and the blue look similar. And then the purple and the red don't look that far from each other. This was tough, Neelan.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the most absurd color selection because they're slightly translucent, which means that, like you said, once you put them onto the board, the color of the board is obviously bleeding through and muddies all the colors, and then both pairs of colors become impossible to discern from each other, which is absurd.
Yeah. Mark, you have played Orongo, is that right?
Yeah, I did play Orongo. It's funny, I, again, obviously did not know about Nyakuza.
You would have saved your first time.
I would have,
yeah,
certainly.
Had you known. Because Orongo is Stonehenge-themed.
Right.
Boring.
And that's, boring. I'm more into mafioso cats. But it's funny that you mentioned the display issues with it because Orongo is famous or infamous, I guess is better, for the fact that instead of, I guess, what is ships in this game, it was shells in Orongo, which is a cool component, but also they rolled a lot. So people would complain about the shells rolling around the table. Yeah, it's funny. I played Orongo just the one time. And I remember thinking it was solid, but I didn't think it was necessarily spectacular. But shortly thereafter, I felt like weeks after I had that first play, I remember seeing in a lot of places, including our Discord, but other places as well, the sudden, as you mentioned, surge in Orongo love everywhere. So it got me thinking maybe I didn't really appreciate that initial play of it. You guys really liked this?
So I had played Orongo once before as well. So I've now played both editions. We should obviously emphasize that they are identical. There's no fundamental difference in the rules of the board, despite the fact that I spent most of the game looking at the board thinking, it's interesting how they've changed this board layout until we compared them side by side afterwards and realized it was literally identical. But
okay.
But yeah, I had the same reaction you did, Mark, that first game I played of Orongo, where I was like, oh, this is good, but I was kind of a little bit underwhelmed by it. But I liked my second game of it substantially more. So I don't know. I feel like I could turn a corner on it with time, but I don't think it's necessarily a top tier Knizia for me personally.
So I think that what I like is that it plays in the Blue Lagoon length, but it isn't the same style of game. Blue Lagoon v Babylonia v Through the Desert, those are fundamentally similar style things, and this is not that style of thing, which I appreciate. It also uses in a way that I find much more palatable than some of the other Reiner Knizia new ones that we've been playing, like the one with balloons and the castle one that looks so cool. It is hilarious, though, to Neelan's point, the board, it's trying to look like a harbor, so it just uses half the board. Literally, there's one square space on the other side of the board, so it makes this lovely look. But they use half the board, where it's an island in Orongo, and they use the whole board because that's what you do in a board game is you use the board. So I am happy to have this. I'm wondering if there's a way to mark some of the acrylic boats with maybe a little symbol or something. I'm sure that's happening on BGG. I should probably look it up, but definitely one I'm bringing to Dice Tower West. I think in a 4-player. Get it done in under an hour sort of time slot. You could not complain about this. And I get that that's sort of a Reiner Knizia common thing, so I don't know that this is S tier for me, but it's certainly in the it deserves to be
upper half,
talked about. Yeah, definitely upper half. I would say top 20% for me easily, and with potential to rise. So definitely loved Nyakuza. Thank you again for the review copy of this, and excited to play it more.
All right, I got a chance to play Hooky, a deduction word game designed by James Miller and the Friends of Asima, which is evidently a group formed to support the Asima Charitable Trust of Mumbai. This was the other part of the design team. My understanding is that Mr. Miller unfortunately passed away as the game was being developed, and it was his wish that the proceeds of the game went to them. So it's a kind of a beautiful story and a worthwhile cause. It is published by Rio Grande Games. Hooky is, as I think I mentioned, a deduction word game where you're trying to figure out which kids are playing hooky. They are represented by cards, each of which prominently displays the first letter of their name. So if the Kieran card has the big K on it, and the Lila card has the big L on it, and so forth. So theme aside, what you're trying to do in this game is figure out which three cards have been removed from the deck using deduction. The way it works is everyone is going to be dealt some number of cards depending on the player count. You'll also get a pretty involved piece of paper on which to take notes. And let me tell you, you are going to be taking notes. The game starts with everyone giving a single 5-letter word that must include at least one of the letters in your hand. So if I happen to have the A, B, C, and D letters in my hand, I could say to start the game, books. And then I'd say 1 because the letter B, which is in my hand, shows up once in the word books. So that's 1. If I said crack, I would say then 3 because C appears twice in the A, B, C, D that I happen to have, and A appears once. So that's 3. So everyone does that to start the game, giving a little bit of info what they have in their hand. Then the heart of the game, the real meat of the game, starts. And here, each person on their turn is going to pick someone around the table and give them a 5-letter word. And the person who's being asked is going to say in the same sort of way how many times the letters in the word appear in their hand. And then the next person goes and so on and so on. So if I asked Neelan, theme, and he happened to have the letter T and E among other letters in his hand, he would say 3 because T appears once and the E appears twice. So that's how you sort of trying to figure out what letters everybody has. After a number of rounds of this, you're going to try to guess what the 3 hidden letters are. And then you're going to play another round, and you're going to try guessing again what the 3 letters are now that you have some more information. And then you're going to go one more time around and try to guess again what the 3 letters are now that the game is complete. You're also going to try to guess what everybody else is holding. So as you're deducing what the 3 letters that are taken out are, you're also going to get information about what other cards other people are holding. You're also hearing what they're saying. Even when you're not asking the question, you're hearing, and you're going to write that down as well. And then after the game ends, there's going to be a scoring. Whoever's the most accurate is going to win, especially if you're accurate about the hidden cards, which are worth the most points. This game has a cute theme and very, very cute art and a pretty straightforward description. It's like a word deduction game. But let me tell you, this is a brain burner. As I promised in an earlier episode, I got a chance to play Search for Planet X based on Neelan's recommendation. And while I had a great, great time with it, this is much more intense of a deduction game. It's also intense in terms of the note-taking, as I mentioned before. I played this game at 5 players, which is the maximum count, and which I understand is the most intense version of the game, which was unbeknownst to us when we started playing. And it was a game where everyone had their heads down, totally concentrating, scratching out notes and all that stuff. Evidently, what I've heard is that the game softens up a little bit at lower player counts. But again, I can't really speak to that. This game is a little hard to recommend unless you love deduction games. I think if you love deduction games, this is like an auto buy because it's really going to be scratching that itch hardcore. And perhaps, as I said, it's more relaxed at 3 and 4, even though if it is, the mechanisms are still the same, and I'm sure it has the same sort of flavor of game. I would say that if you hate deduction games and the idea of taking lots of notes and really thinking about the best way to do things isn't your style, this is definitely a stay away. For what it's worth, I think I lean more toward the liking deduction side of things than the alternative. And so I'm interested in playing this again, though, as I said, even for me who likes deduction games, this felt right on the edge of like a little too much. I would certainly be eager to play it at 3 or 4 again, which I think is supposed to be a little simpler. And I think if you don't fall on either the love it or hate it side of deduction games, it's certainly worth giving it a try. It feels surprisingly fresh insofar as it's mixing these 2 very well-worn genres of games, word games, which we've all played 100 of, and deduction games, which we all played 100 of. But mixing word and deduction for some reason felt kind of unique. I know some other games have done it, but the way this does it felt like an accomplishment in and of itself. So that is Hooky a game by James Miller and the Friends of Asima.
It's funny because I've played this a couple of years ago, but only once. But I played it at 3 players, so I remember not having as intense an experience as you're describing. But that actually now tracks based on what you're saying. So you're saying that as you up the player count, it probably gets a lot more heavy on deduction. I can see that.
Right. So it feels like you need to turn the knob up. Like you felt it was a little too simple at 3?
No, I maybe simple is not the right word, but
okay.
It definitely didn't strike me as wow, this is brain burning because it is quite a simple design. Like you can explain it in like 5 minutes. And I remember finding the puzzle enjoyable, but not intense necessarily. But maybe maybe that is just because of the lower player count.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I came here with the same reaction of it was good, but I wasn't amazing in the deduction genre. But yeah,
I agree.
It's a surprising theme for a heavier-ish deduction thing.
Yeah, very cutesy.
I haven't had a hickey since high school.
Neelan, tell us about Altay.
Altay, Dawn of Civilization. This is a new civilization-themed, as the name might suggest, deck builder designed by Paolo Mori and Ola Steinis. Paolo Mori, who you will probably know from games such as
Dogs of War,
Ethnos, Libertalia. Recently, I've been a big fan of his Blitzkrieg and Caesar games. And Ola Steinis has definitely a good track record with stuff like Champions of Midgard, the Deep Rock Galactic board game, which I think is quite excellent. So I was very interested to see what a game co-designed by these two would look like, especially given the mechanics and the theme. I love deck builders. I love Civilization 4X adjacent games, and while this is certainly not a 4X game, it is trying to emulate some of what that represents, which is to say that is a game where you start with a very basic civilization in one corner of the board, represented by your very basic deck. That deck allows you to accrue resources slowly, put out villages, and acquire new cards. The cards that you purchase are purchased using one of the 4 different research types, and they're kind of broadly categorized by the resource that they cost to purchase. So wood is going to get you down one category of card. Stone is going to get you down another category of card. So as you're building up your proficiency in one resource, you're going down these sort of almost tech trees, which again, another very 4X civilization appropriate mechanic. But at the end of the day, it is primarily a deck builder, but one that does have that on-the-board component to it. Like I said, as you're spending resources, you're putting out these villages, you're expanding territory out. At the end of the game, you are fighting over control of all this territory. That does tend to mean that you're going to very quickly be bristling up against your opponents. There is a rudimentary combat system in the game, whereby if you play an attack card, add that attack value to the strength of your villages in that region, and your opponent can play some defense cards from they have them in their hand, add them to the strength of their villages, and the winner, which can be in either direction, either attacker or defender, takes one of their opponent's villages permanently, which will be end of game points for them. So at the end of the game, what you're effectively working towards is control of territories, successful attacks, cards. The cards are sort of tiered in a way that the ones closer towards the top of the stack cost you culture, which is a hard to come by resource, but also award you victory points, as well as just the other relative strength of those cards in victory points at the end of the game. So like a Dominion style deck builder where you are rifling through your deck trying to see how many points that is worth at the end of the game. It plays fairly quickly. We found even our first game of this took no more than about 90 minutes, which is a very nice clean time. I think you would easily get that down to sub 60 with sufficient plays. And I can easily imagine, although I hadn't played this at 2 players yet, I can easily imagine that being a very quite intense back and forth that takes very small amounts of time. One of the setbacks I had with this was both the setup and the table space seemed kind of unreasonable to me in terms of just how much space it takes up for what is a relatively small game in terms of mechanics and weight. It is a table hog. Unlike a game like Dominion, where you are just putting up a subset of the cards as your market, every single card that is in the box in Altay is available in every single game, which I don't mind when it comes to mechanically card markets, having access to the same cards, but I know that can be a point of contention for a lot of people when it comes to replay value, if you're having access to the exact same cards from game to game to game. What Altay trades off for that, though, is a slight amount of asymmetry in those basic starting decks. So each faction has like a strength that they slightly lean into, that their faction is slightly pushing them towards. And I have to say that I didn't love that aspect of it. Sometimes I feel like I'm turning the corner a little bit on asymmetry, where I kind of don't want to be pushed in a very specific direction. We got the sense, for example, that Kellen was being pushed to be a combat faction, and that's just one of those things that, you know, always rubs me the wrong way. I'd rather sort of decide at any given game from moment to moment how I'm going to be crafting my faction. But that said, that is a big part of the game as well. That is ultimately the deck building. Although there's a lot that is on the table here, it is still going to come down to your deck building proficiency, as I found out to like my absolute horror when I built the most inefficient deck possible and ended up being completely destroyed by Kellen in our first game. But yeah, Kellen, what did you think about Altay Dawn of Civilization?
It is crazy how good the combination or the simplicity of this is, right? So the deck building plus combat, right? You have an abstracted version of that in Dune Imperium. Tyrants of the Underdark has the sort of area control deck building, but this just felt like we're having normal combat that's quick, done in deck building in a combination that I thought was super great. I have bought this since Neelan had us play it, which is a unusual circumstance. Normally we will be like, okay, Neelan, you're buying this or I'm buying this. And I hate being the guy to say this. I do think it is begging for expansion content, which is to say that like a lot of the cards, I don't see emergent gameplay in the cards. I see it in how you interact with each other, which I want, but again, it's that combination, right, of deck building plus this. I feel like there's probably a lot of fun and clever cards, combo-y stuff that I think would come out in a future expansion where this is like shaved down to be just like as tight as it possibly can be.
I think that makes sense.
That's pretty high praise, man. I'm sort of shocked, but like again, I don't know anything about it besides what you told me. But for Kellen to buy it and then actually want expansions, I'm now especially intrigued by it.
There is the weird ocean thing that's super weird.
We should talk about that real quick, which is that the board that comes in the box is printed with these island spaces on the board, which theoretically, if you don't have what is called the Seafarers promo, you just don't have access to those islands. You could easily disguise them as just being like set dressing on the board if you don't know that this promo exists. But it does feel like this weird thing to have a mechanic baked into the game that you need a promo to get access to. But even that gets kind of weird because apparently they're just giving that promo away with almost every retail copy of the game. So I don't quite understand what the intent there is between how they're trying to like restrict access to that promo, because it doesn't seem to be hard to get that if you are just legitimately purchasing the game. So it's a very bizarre situation all around. A lot of people seem to be implying that also that the game is not particularly well balanced unless you have that promo, which is
it has to be
nuts.
In the 3-player, like this.
Oh yeah, you're right. We have ran into that. Yeah.
So is the starting position for 3-player? It's always the same-ish.
No, that's like the recommended starting position. Sure. So I suppose on expert quote-unquote play, you would simply not build yourself into a corner. But
yeah, the recommended starting position without the Seafarers just means that one player is in between the two other players, and player C has no way to get to player A. It's just like a preposterous publisher-friendly decision that has something to do with an expansion content that is not player-friendly at all. But like, then most people are getting it, but not everyone is. And so the forums are just people going like, where can I get this?
Yeah, it's a completely nuts situation. But anyway, if you end up with the Seafarers promo, as I did, presumably Kellen did, which is a kind of a big if, I suppose, in the context of this, then I would heartily recommend this. I think it's really, really solid for, especially like Kellen said, for how simple it is, how short it is. There is a good amount of game there that feels at its core fundamentally driven by sort of classic deck builders, but it just has enough stuff bolted onto enough interaction that makes it very, very interesting. The one thing I didn't even mention is on top of the deck building mechanic, there's this separate technology tree, which are these kind of, you can kind of just think of them as big projects that you're working towards that ultimately lead to like wonders. And those seem to be the big splashy effects that you want to kind of mix this up a little bit. So it does have that, and that is enough, I would say, to make each game feel different from one another, because the way that those techs come out is going to differ from game to game to game, especially the way that you build towards them. But yeah, I thought this was solid. Would highly recommend Altay. Had a great time with it.
It's unapologetically combat forward, which is like Neon just got.
Yeah.
Like, just, it's like you're building your deck, and then conflict, and Neon lost all of them.
Yep.
It's like, I attack Neon, Neon loses. Neon attacks me, Neon loses. Just over and over again. So it's not like, it's not a perfect 1-to-1. If you like Dominion, you're going to love this. Like, you actually do want to get into that. Sort of, this is an area control dudes on a map game that also happens to be a deck builder.
Yep. But yeah, that is Altay Dawn of Civilization by Ares Games.
Just want to sort of apologize here to Altay because I was looking it up. There have only been 4 games since 2012 that have Dawn of Civilization in their title. I thought it'd be way more than that. So
I mean, 4 is still pretty bad.
4. there's I'm going to count this one. Civilization and New Dawn still counts. Dawn of Civilization. Then there's Altay Dawn of Civilization. There's the God Kings Warfare at the Dawn of Civilization. And then there's a game that's coming out this year, which you might hear about later because we're going to be talking about 2025 games, called The Dawn of Civilization. So there's
amazing.
Altay Dawn of Civilization and Dawn of Civilization, 2 games that have come out within a year of each other. So yeah, a couple quick shout outs here. First, if you're going to Dice Tower West, we are going to be there. We're getting excited to ramp up for that. We're going to be recording our bonus episode after this and talking, I think, among other things, about what we're planning to do for Dice Tower West and how we're feeling about it. If you're a patron of the show, you should have received an email from us about our get-together, our game night at my place at Dice Tower West, as we do every year. And so, yeah, whether or not you're a patron, let us know if you're at Dice Tower West, and maybe we'll see you there. Another quick thing is, I just want to shout out a board game content creator, I guess, on Instagram that I recently found that I think deserves more looks. It's called Two Mexican Meeples. They do reviews and art and stuff like that. And I'm not on Instagram very often, but they got into my feed somehow. And the photography there is just, I thought, very striking. And I just thought that we could use our medium-sized platform to boost up maybe a little bit of a up-and-coming creator out there. So Two Mexican Meeples, I would definitely recommend. Okay, let's get into the 2025 anticipated games auction. We'll have to come up with a acronym sooner or later. So first of all, big shout out to the Big Picture podcast, where I sort of got inspired for this. They do the same thing with movies, and I thought it was a fun gimmick. So as a, again, board game podcast, we should definitely have an auction system. So that's where I got it from. So check them out. But here's how this is going to work. We're each going to start with 100 fake dollars. $100 for 100 fake US dollars.
Thank you, Mark.
Have actually printed out counterfeit money for this, and I have mailed it to Kellen and Neelan.
You're on a list now, Mark.
On the screen. Yeah, but that's fine. It's worth it for this. So we each have 100 fake USD to auction. And the way it works is, in snake draft order, we are going to go around proposing a game for the auction. So if you've ever played like a fantasy football with an auction draft, this is the same sort of thing. So if it's me first, I would propose a game for auction, and then we would auction it off, and then we keep going back and forth. We're each going to buy 5 games in this auction. And we are going to be judged at the end of the year based on the following criteria. Okay. First is number of votes on BGG. So we're going to be trying to buy the game that has the most votes on BGG of the 2025 games, the games released in 2025. That's one category. Second will be rank on BGG. So in the final tabulation at the end of the year, we'll game rank the highest on BGG. Then this is a shout out to BGG user Vitus979, VITUS 979. Every year they do a consensus highest ranked game based on a whole bunch of board game content creators. Vitus 979 aggregates that, averages it all out, and has like a master list. We're going to go with their master list. So based on content creators' rankings of 2025 games. So whoever has the highest ranked game based on critical acclaim, I guess you would call that, would get the most points. The fourth category will be our BGB listener game of 2025. So at the end of the year, we're going to have a poll out there. What's your game in 2025? Whoever finishes highest on that list will score the highest points. For each of these 4 categories, votes, rank, critical consensus, BGB listeners, whoever finishes first will get 3 points, then 2 for second place, and 1 for third place. If you pick a game, as we do this auction, you are going to have to assign that game to one of the categories. So if I get Finspan, I'm going to put Finspan in my number of votes category, and that'll be where it sits. We're also going to draft one more game, which will be our wild card. That game is going to be assigned at the end of the year when we do our scoring. You can put that game in any of the categories you want. And so therefore, if I pick a wildcard game and I put it in a category, I now have 2 nominations in that category, and I could potentially get first and second place. So if my wildcard finishes first and my regular game finishes second, I get the 3 points for first, 2 points for second. In addition, and I'm almost done, at the end of this episode, you're going to get a chance to vote on whose auction you think was the best. You could go to boardgamebarrage.com/auction and vote on the auction you think was the best. The person who wins that is going to get 3 bonus points. Second place will get 2 bonus points. Third place will get 1 bonus point. So you can help us out, get a big lead to start the competition. And we will pick one person at random to get a $50 gift card to the board gaming online retailer of their choice. So much like our drafts, you're going to have a chance to vote for the one you like the best and give that person a lead, and perhaps win yourself some money for games to an online retailer of your choice. And that is how it's going to work. Any questions, folks?
No, I'm just very nervous. I think I'm going to do terribly at this.
See, this is the thing. The thing that's good about this, unlike the draft, is that if you forget something in the draft, you're done. You're dead. Yeah. Because like somebody else is going to take it, you're done. Here, if somebody proposes something that's really good,
you can always
outspend them.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I think the way that we're going to call an auction over is whoever proposes the game, if there's a lull in the conversation, we can talk about it, we can discuss, we can, bid as we talk about it. But if there's a lull, we're going to say going, gone. And if nobody ups the bid before the gone, it is gone. Any argument there?
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay, perfect. I love it. So what are our stakes here? I like the idea that you have no idea what's going on, so I think we should play for something here. For pride. Okay. I'm always in for pride.
Let's do one first, then we can start talking about all the...
Okay. You got it. Okay. That's fair. Okay, so we're going to go Mark, Kellen, Neelan, because that's how it is on my screen. I'll go first, second Kellen, third Neelan, fourth Neelan, back to Kellen, back to me. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Here we go.
So we have $100s of dollars.
Okay, so it's me first to put a game on the clock, and there's a strategy here, because, you could put a big hitter out, try to have everybody spend their cash.
Yeah.
You could put a game that you think is not going to do well and try to sucker somebody into getting a game that you think is not going to do well, based on how things stand currently on the BGG rankings list. Like some games that were released early already have a lead on this. So that's another thing to consider. So I'm gonna put a nice juicy one out to start. I'm going to do the game that currently has the most votes, and I think is currently the highest ranked of the 2025 games. This is Arydia, The Path We Dare Tread. This is by the designer of
Legends of the Drift System.
Legends of the Drift System, yeah. So some pedigree there. Again, this is the leading game currently for 2025 in terms of number of votes, and I think of ranking as well. So I'm going to put Arydia out there for $50.
50?
Yeah. Have you guys played Zia?
I have not played Zia. I feel it came up recently as something that I felt like I ought to play, but so wait, just to clarify, your opening bid is $50.
Half of the pot $50. For this game.
Oh no, sorry. I was thinking we were doing.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
I thought you went bold, Mark. No,
no.
We love your bold.
No,
we love your bold, proud declaration.
No, $5. I'm going $5.
Oh my God!
I'm doing $5.
Wow, this got a lot less interesting. The cavalier way he said you kneeling. Yeah. So just to clarify these rules.
Yeah, exactly. I really just was. Yeah, I really didn't think that was anything but like the bold opening gambit.
No, no, I'm not nearly that bold, but yeah, Arydia, Zia designers.
And so we're going in order, or like we can all bid, and then you just close.
You can bid anytime.
Yeah,
this is an open auction.
I will bid $10.
Neil, you haven't even played Zia, right?
I haven't played Zia, but here's the thing I know about Arydia. It's kind of in the new vogue of like open world campaign RPGs, which I think have always somewhat proven at least a little bit popular. Like even the ones that like aren't. Okay, fine.
Shut up. I'll bid 20.
You sold me.
I'll bid 20. I like the bid. It's a
20
bid. 20's good. You guys don't need this.
20.
It has a colon.
So
the path
20
we
is
dare
an average
tread.
bid. If you
Yeah.
The
give
paths we
$100,
dare
split
tread. Arydia.
100.
25.
100,
25.
25.
Okay. There's exploration in this game. There's combat.
Yeah,
There's
But you guys don't
role
like.
playing.
You guys have not played Zia. You don't
It's
like
a
sandbox
green
games.
legacy game, okay?
Yeah.
Hidden
Green Legacy.
information.
Kellen, you hate Legacy.
This is a $30 game, Mark. This is a $30 game.
Is that
You
a
going
$30
30?
bid?
Yeah, that's a $30. Well, no, it's not. It's definitely more than a $30 game.
This is like a $200 game.
Yeah, done.
I'm 31. 31.
I'll do 35, just so you can shut the up.
Oof.
Yeah, you're
This
reading.
is look. This is if you want a sure thing. This is so much.
I mean,
so
yeah,
far the sure
I mean,
thing.
exactly. This is the closest thing to a sure thing, considering
36.
it is already, it already has a
Oh my
lead.
God. I'll bid 40. That's fine. But I thought you were done talking earlier. That's $40
40.
out of 100.
Oh, yeah.
We're almost back to your initial bid, Mark. Are you gonna be a man and just do it?
Because this is money in the bank. There, this is like a don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. What happens with our
41.
leftover money? I'm going to be
41.
so frugal. 42.
What did you do at 50?
I was
43.
really going to do it. 44.
Nealon?
45. I'll say 45. F- it.
No, Neil.
Don't let him get it for 45. Don't let him get it for 45.
How is this not
Neil
getting
was
out?
out of this.
That's not how that works.
Don't let him get it for 45, Kellen. Just a buck more.
45, you say?
45.
Yeah.
I'll do 46. That's fine. I was already here, so I've
All right,
staked the
Neil.
claim.
Yeah.
Nealon, just go up a couple more.
No, I'm not playing that game anymore with Mark. I know what you're trying to do.
You said 40, what?
46.
40,
is the
46
current
to
bid.
Callan. Yeah, like just doing the maths on how many more games you still have to buy, like that's would be so rough.
Okay. Going, gone. Okay.
This is a
$46.
Guys, this is a 9.3 on BGG, and it's already almost in the top 1,000. It's also a Kickstarter game, so
Yeah.
all of these people just rank it a 10 for no reason. It's
no
a
reason.
sunk cost fallacy. This is a bargain at $46.
I actually think
Okay,
the thing
what-
that's actually interesting about this is it being a Kickstarter as well means it might be unlikely to change much from that, which means
Yes,
it's already
that's true.
it's already got its but
Yeah,
the
most-
secured value is what
It certainly won't win most ratings.
yeah.
Right?
Okay,
Like
so-
I think we can clear. Yes.
Speaking of that, you now have to assign it.
What? Now?
You have to assign it now.
Now?
Now. So he's going to be number of votes.
Yeah.
He's going to be ranking.
Yeah.
He's going to be consensus.
It's got to
or
be
is it gonna
rank on
BGG?
BGG for this one.
Okay, ranking. You could also put in your wild card now if you want to.
Oh, put it in my wild card, so then I choose
Yeah,
later.
so make
but I
it-
have to
make-
choose now, huh? Well, this is I spent all the money on, so I should just put it in my wild card. I'm a gamer,
Okay.
you know what I mean? I understand that because I can put that in anywhere. You tried to box me in, bro. This is wild card. You tried to think I
Okay,
don't
so
understand
Kellen
how
is-
this
But
works.
that's his wild card slot gone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
His wild card slot
Yeah,
gone.
yeah,
He's now
okay.
forced.
But then at the end of
every
the
pick
year-
will be forced.
I put big
Yeah,
money
you can put it
wherever
in the best spot. Yeah.
and then I
That makes
and
sense.
then
That
I
makes
win.
sense.
What are you talking about?
No, I was just
No,
going to make
now-
sure I
so-
understood, but that
Now you have just over half your money, and every pick will be forced. So your weak stuff is going to be the one that's going to be scoring for you. This is a classic mistake.
Mark,
All right, Kellen, you put the next one up.
you made up these stupid rules. And now
5 minutes.
you're mad at me for playing your game. Is that what I'm seeing? All right.
Exactly.
I am going to put up the Puerto Rico 1897 special edition. So this is the Awaken Realms edition of Puerto Rico. They redid it a la the Castles of Burgundy. This is a crazy, crazy Kickstarter with absolutely beautiful and insane art. If you're not familiar with Puerto Rico, this is a absolute classic game and was the number one game on BGG for at least a few years when I got into the hobby. And this is the new version, the new prettier version. Yeah, 1897. I opened the bidding at $1. I only have
Counterfeit US dollar.
$54 left, so
I'll jump in at 5 for that.
What is this going to be good for, though? What category? I'll go 6. I'll go 6. You
What-
guys have all played Puerto Rico?
I have
Yes.
played Puerto Rico, yes. I think it was on my top 50 at some point. if I'm
I
not
love
mistaken.
Puerto Rico.
The thing I'm sort of worried about here is, like, there was that latest edition of Puerto Rico that, like, was a disaster in terms of
Yeah.
like, production and all that stuff. And Has that soured people's taste?
Yeah, I think, it's impossible to talk about Puerto Rico without the controversy, right? Which they have attempted to do more here in terms of making the theme less off-putting, set in a time, but that does hang over it even no matter what you do, right? Like that's still part of the game's origins. But I guess it's like, for me, this could win a listener vote for sure. This could definitely win a BGG. Like, what will the content creators say? What do the reviewers say?
Yeah.
This is definitely place in that. I don't know, like, how high it will place in that.
Feels like you should put your money where your mouth is then.
Mm-hmm. You bid $5. I'll bid $6 for this.
I think, Mark already has it at 6.
Mark, I'll bid 7. I'm fine with that for 7. You need to keep boxing me more. $7, it's a steal.
It does feel like a steal at $7,
but there's impossible to evaluate. This is all hypothetical.
I think I would come in on 8 for sure.
Mark doesn't even think this is worth $8.
I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting. I'm sitting here.
Mark, this is classic Mark auction strategy, which is let everyone else spend their money, and then he just comes in and hoards and just destroys at the end. I'd be happy to take this for 9. That's fine with me.
Let me look at my list real
What's
quick.
$2?
Yeah, I'll do 10.
And I will tap out because I've already spent so much on the paths we daren't tread.
I'm going to say it's going, gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Elon, where are you going to put it?
That is a good question. I think that I am going to put this... I'll put this in rank.
Okay. You're up to propose a game.
Okay. The game I am going to propose is Molly House.
Okay.
By Cole Worley. Molly House is a game that is co-designed by Joe Kelly and Cole Worley. As you know, Whirligig, which is Cole's publishing house, they do these highly thematic games that are more about sort of telling a story in a very evocative theme. So this is set in and around the queer community of 1700s London, apparently. I've heard a lot of praise around its theme and the way it evokes that, and how evocative it is of that theme in particular seems to be the source of its of a lot of its praise right now. It is I believe, drafting card game with hidden roles. I'm not entirely sure exactly how it works mechanically, if I'm being honest, but I suspect this is going to be one of the buzzier games of the year for sure.
Okay. Like it.
I will start the bidding at $5.
All right. Cole Worley game, I think you got to go at least $10 right off the bat. So I'm going 10.
Understanding like what this game is has been really hard to grasp for me.
I mean, Cole Worley games in general are going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, but I think like the type of game that this was has like changed, or at least like morphed in some. Anyway, because this is also not trick taking. Is that right? I could be wrong.
Yeah, I know the cards are suited.
I think it's.
I'm not really.
I don't think that it's trick taking, but it is definitely some sort of. It says multi-use cards here in BGG.
Yeah. And Mark, you're bidding 10. Where are you going to put this? Where are you going to put this?
Oh, I know exactly where you're going to put this. This is easy.
Yeah, I think this is an easy lock for a specific category.
Oh, BGG
but
listener.
You can sit out of it.
Yeah.
If you guys are using old data to inform this list, you're tryhards. I just want to say this. Right
I just think
Nealon, I can see spreadsheets. Nealon's eyes.
I have nothing.
I can see
genuinely
Google spreadsheets. Nealon, I see the light. Nealon,
I will fully admit to doing that for the drafts. I do not have that here.
Close your eyes for the rest of this episode. You're saying $10. I'll.
I only got 54 left.
I will say 12.
Okay.
13.
I'll say 15.
All right.
Healthy.
I'm going to say 16.
Handsome 16. Bid. This game is going to not be a hit. That's my prediction right now, based on all that I know. For that reason,
save your cash.
I'm out.
You're out. Okay.
And for that reason,
I will, and for that reason alone, Kellen is not bidding more.
No. Up bid on him. I need you to go to war.
I mean, I plan to. Yeah. No, I'll come in. You said 16, Mark. I will come in at 18.
I'll go 20.
I will go 25.
It's a handsome bid.
That is a strong bid. I think about.
Yeah, I do worry maybe a little bit what Kellen's saying. I think that this will find an audience, and which is why I have a very particular place for it here. But I will take it at 25, gone. and I will be
Okay.
slotting that into BGB Listener Game of 2025. I think
Listener-
our community has proven a huge adoration for anything Cole Worley touches, honestly. And like I said, I do think that this already does have early buzz for like how evocative it is. So I think that it's not going to go unnoticed in our community. I think that's definitely the case.
Okay. Seems like you're trying to put
Run
your
for
finger on the
office.
scale, but whatever. Whatever. If you want to pander, go ahead and pander. Whatever you have to do. Whatever. it
Look,
takes to
what
win,
I'm
I guess.
saying is that our audience knows how smart they are, and they know.
Yeah.
that-
All right, you got another game to put up.
Yeah, okay. I will do this one just because I think it's another pleaser, I think. I am going to say Nemesis Retaliation.
Nemesis
The
Retaliation.
third entry in the Nemesis series.
Your favorite game series?
One of my favorite series ever.
It's weird because like if you don't want a game, you only get 5. So
Yep. Yeah. No,
Um,
I mean, to be clear, I'll start the bid here at 10. And I want this. I think it's a solid pick.
And so this is, as you said, the latest in the Nemesis series.
Yes.
I assume this is going to be another of the thematic sort of aliens. As far as you know, is there like a big departure between this and the original Nemesis?
So I don't actually even know too much about the second entry. What I do know is that Nemesis, I think Lockdown was the second one. It was as well regarded, if not
Yeah.
more regarded than the first one. So I think Awakened Realms is a smart publisher. I think that they learn from their mistakes and iterate quite well, even if I don't always love their first draft. So I'm confident that this is going to be well received.
I'll push you to 11. I'll push you to 11.
I will say 12.
Kellen, you getting in this? You got money to spend? You got
I
half
am.
your money. Come on.
I am not getting in this.
You can let him have it for 11? Or what was it? Was your number?
I think
No,
12. I
You're
think
in
12.
charge.
12? You can let him have a
You're in
12?
charge of beating him. I already prematurely shot my wad
Uh,
of cash. To be clear,
Going, gone for
Where are you
12.
putting
An
this?
absolute steal for Nemesis
Where are you putting this?
Retaliation.
you're gonna be trading this game away at a future virtual flea market for $10.
I am going to put this in. Let me see here. I'll put this in as wild card for now.
okay. Kellen, you're up.
All right, let's go straight to the fishes.
Oh,
Finspan. So, strategy, folks. I'm putting this up now because I think that Mark's strategy was to try to punt his heavy hitters to the end and then make Nealon and I spend all the money. Mark, how many games have you got so far?
I've gotten 0.
Oh, interesting. Well, put your money where your mouth is and get Finspan. I will start the bidding at $20 for Finspan.
25.
I'll do 30.
And so what do we know about Finspan so far?
We know that it is potentially going to win the best Thanksgiving bird game
Yeah.
of 2025.
It's going to win Best Expansion of 2025.
It's at 30,
It's
right?
at 30 to me.
But it's now at 35 because I just said it.
I'll bid 36.
37.
40 to me.
41. You guys are going to be low on cash if you win this boy.
Well, you got the high bid.
Yeah.
You're
so
going to
it's,
be
right
low
now
on
it's-
cash. Oh, sorry, what is
The
it?
update right now is
It's at 41 to Mark.
41. Kellen's at $54 and Nealon's at $53.
I'll bid 42.
43.
44.
45.
I knew there was squish in you, Mark. I'll bid 46.
Careful now. This would be called in fantasy football the stars and scrub strategy, where you spend a lot of money on stars and then you
I'm
use
really
your
good at
meager
picking
leftovers.
scrub talent.
That's true. That's
I
what I'm
believe
worried
in
about.
myself.
I'm worried about your eye for talent.
I have the best eye for talent in the business.
47. 47.
We're getting close to like I would have literally $1 for each game left.
Yeah.
I'll let you have it for 47. I think that'll make it more interesting.
Unless Nealon wants to come in. You don't want to come in?
Nope, I'm out. I
Alright,
agree
so-
with Kellen. I think the world where you have $100 left and Kellen and I have like 20 each would be very
This is
silly.
good.
Terrifying.
This is the best for us.
So that is a going.
Oh, that's
Going-
my job. Going, gone.
Yeah.
Mark got by Finspan. Where are you placing?
I got a guarantee winner.
You
I
got,
a-
you
for one
got,
dollar
oh,
more
you got
than-
a guarantee winner, Mark? That's
yeah,
what everyone says when you
Arydia.
go to
I gave
Vegas.
it,
What's your guarantee?
this is I got a system. I got
You got it. Yeah, you got a
the
system.
craps table. That's right. No, this is a guaranteed winner. Listen, you guys should cower in fear because wherever I put Finspan, that's 3 points. Lock that up.
Yeah.
Lock that up.
You're
for
done.
sure. I'm just going to take the money or the points here, and I'm just going to put it in votes. This is number one for votes. So.
And you just bid how much? 47?
47. So I have 53 left. So we're actually all now at parity here. 54. Count as a big man with 54.
Yeah, I've
And
got
Neil
the
and I
most
have-
money now, bro.
53. That's right. You've turned the tables here. Okay. I'm going to go for Luthier. This is a game that I covered earlier. This is by Paverson Games.
You played the game?
Folks who did Distilled. Yeah. A little bit of an edge going into this. Lovely game about making musical instruments and playing them and all this stuff. Absolutely fantastic production. Great game. I can vouch for it myself. And for that reason, I'm going to go 5 to start. So this is a worker placement game. It's got what I like from Francis Drake, where you have like hidden bids, hidden worker placement bids. Each of your workers have a different power. If you're interested in hearing more, again, I've covered this earlier in a previous podcast, so would encourage you to check that out.
I think actually the funny thing that scares me right now is I don't love this for either of my 2 remaining categories, which makes me feel I shouldn't bid on it.
I'm going to say this is a going once.
If you have it for how much?
$5. Going twice. Gone. Okay. I get Luthier for $5.
Hey, Mark, you could have done $1. You got played.
Maybe I should have. You got me. I'm going to put this into consensus. I'm going to put this in the critical consensus.
Okay.
A critic darling. A Euro game.
Come on, Paperson Games, don't let me down here. Okay, so I'm down to $48, and it's me to put up another game. I'm going to put up Elder Scrolls game. This is another game that has stats. It's already up there in terms of number of votes, so you're sort of getting a sure thing a little bit here. Based on the video game, I assume. Upgrade your character and gear up to explore many regions of Tamriel. Cooperative game. Looks like dungeon crawly. Well, you got the Gloomhaven vibes here. I've learned my lesson. I'll go $1 here.
Yeah,
I'll go
I
2.
don't know that I'm very sure on this. You said 2?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely worth at least. I think it's worth 3, like for sure.
I'll go 4.
I'll do 5.
I'll do 7.
I'll do
8.
10.
11.
Do 13.
14.
I'll do 20. When you can stop pretending we don't know this is going to be a good game. Holy shit.
I'll do 22.
You did 21?
See,
I did 22.
not yet. 22. Okay. Wait, were you sandbagging this whole time, Neelan?
No,
You really seemed like you weren't sure early on. Now you're.
Oh, no, he was lying. He was completely lying.
Oh, okay.
I was straight up lying. I mean, I think 22 is probably on the upper end of what I would pay for it, but it's very. I think it's definitely it was obviously worth more than.
You should replay his
2
photo
or the
saying
3.
maybe this is worth 3 or whatever he said. I'll do 25.
I will do 26.
Wait a second. This is on the upper end, and you immediately go higher.
It's towards the upper end.
I'll do 30.
I'll do 32.
This is literally 10 more than you were saying was the upper end.
Is it?
Yeah.
You were hemming and hawing at 3, and now you're
I'll do
That's
33.
weird.
That's fine.
I'll do 35.
I'm now worried. I'm now concerned about what my position is. I'm out.
I'll do
35.
36.
How much do I have left, Mark? Sorry.
53.
Keeping track of this myself. 37.
Feels like a going.
38.
I will do 40.
You have shown yourself, Neelan, as a liar.
That's like
as a dirty
complete
liar.
And I have shown myself
Okay.
as a gentleman of upstanding honor. What?
40 is the bid.
Yeah, I'll do 41. Make him go one more.
42.
Look at this. From 20, well, it was 22 or 23.
22 is my.
Yeah,
Of
but
the
like
upper
that
limit.
was
It was like
It could have been
yeah.
worth 3. Maybe.
Could have been worth 3, maybe. What are we at? 41, you said, Kellen?
Yeah, and you said, but you
I'll
have
do 42.
You only need two more games.
I need 2 more, yeah.
And he said 42.
42.
I'm going to say that's a going, gone. Okay, 42. And where are you putting it?
I'm going to put this into consensus game.
Okay.
Critic favorite, is that what
Critic favorite, yeah. So, yeah, if there was a game I was hoping to get, it would have been this. I actually wasn't expecting it to come up this early, to be honest. But yeah, I think Elder Scrolls is hard to bet against. I think Chip Theory is hard to bet against. And I think that this style of game, the open world character RPG formula has proven itself. I think this is going to do very well, is my guess.
It's based on Too Many Bones, right?
It's Too Many Bones. I don't think it's actually based on the same system. I could be wrong, but it's Too Many Bones adjacent in that it's a dice combat system.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay, so game update here. So 54 with Kellen. He's only got his wild card filled in. Nealon is down to $11, and he only has his votes category to fill in. And I've got $48, and I've got my votes and consensus taken. The rest are available. And Kellen is up for proposing a game.
Okay, so I'm going to put up a Tashini game, Transgalactica. So this is a 2025 Danielle Tashini game of Zolkin, Voyages of Marco Polo, Tekenyu, Fame. And this is a worker placement engine building game that is lauded with a high degree of interaction coming from Devere. Not a lot of buzz happening now, like speak of the opposite of, it's got 5 ratings on BGG compared to a lot of these other games. But yeah, I will start the bidding at $1 to potentially save myself the $4 that Mark got for earlier.
I do not know anything about this.
Yeah.
Not a good pedigree, though.
I mean, it's going to have to be up to you to push him on it. I got nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, legitimately.
Listen to the liar at any point.
I have $10.
So you're at $1?
Yep.
Okay, I was worried that you're going to put a game in that wasn't going to release in 2025. And I'm like, is he trying to push it for a game
to
that's not
get
gonna
you
qualify?
money? Yeah, that would be hilarious.
But this game is currently available to buy. It's for sale, so it is a game that has been printed.
Wait, you can buy this already?
I think so. Yeah, it's available. I'm looking at least one place where seems like you can buy it, and it doesn't say pre-order.
Interesting.
So I'm gonna go 2. I'm not. No chance you're getting it for 1. So let's get into some money here.
I'll do 3.
You've knocked me a little bit here. I'll go 4.
5.
I'm gonna sit out. I can't see. You shouldn't bid on things if you're not sure about them. Don't get swept up in the hype of an auction. Nealon, you're still in this. You got enough money.
How much
you
money?
Only have one.
Sorry,
you might as well spend it.
I'm very
$11.
legitimately sorry. I have $11 left. Okay, thank you.
Yes. So I mean,
wait, is that
like
right?
This?
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought I had $1 left. Okay.
No, you have 11.
Okay.
And so might as well
what is
spend
the
it.
bid at right now?
5.
To Kellen?
Yeah.
But you're just helping. If you fight me, you're helping
exactly.
Mark.
I totally. If Mark
parity.
wanting me to bid certainly doesn't help me. If you want Kellen to go higher, Mark, you bid him.
What
higher.
I'm saying is, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to hurt Kellen. Him and I have an alliance.
I
I'm
see.
telling you,
We have
that you only
an
have
alliance?
one game left. Yeah, you only have one game left.
Yeah, and I have.
So you
a lot
might
of
as well
things I could
spend
get
it all.
for
There's no reason to save the
clean
money.
$11.
Yeah, so don't save your money. Just spend it here.
Nope, I don't think so.
All right.
I think I shan't be doing.
All right, going once, going twice, gone. That's me with Transgalactica.
And where are you putting it?
I think that I'm going to put it on the critic favorite. It's certainly not going to win on any of the other ones. I just hope it comes out early enough in the year that it matters. And I haven't done the research, so I'm happy to have spent my $5. Yeah, I feel good about this. The art is super great and more interactive game from him. Like, I'm excited to check it out now. And now I'm rooting for it, right? And so if I'm one of these critics, we're not in the critic list, but I will be telling every critic I know about Transgalactica, which I'm excited to do.
I think we are in the critics list.
Nealon?
Well, we were, even though we didn't really do a top list last year, which is interesting. Okay, this is it kind of an interesting position to be in with only one game left, which means...
What's your category that you need?
The only category I have left is votes. Yeah, number of votes, which is also maybe like the hardest category to call. It means that a lot of people will have to play this. And what does that even mean?
That's the math you're doing in your head right now?
Yeah. It's so crazy when I look down this list of games that I thought I was going to. Okay, I am going to put up for the auction The Witcher Path of Destiny.
All these video game things, Neelan. This is a board game podcast.
Yeah, I think part of that is just from the perspective of like there is certainly like a throughput of volume of just eyes you get on a thing with a license. I'll open this for $1.
And this is Witcher. I'll go 2.
I will say 3.
I'll go 4.
I will do 5.
See, I'm going up against 2 video game guys, and I'm, again, the least adept at this. I'm going to go 6. You can buy this right now from Zulu's Board Game Cafe for $700.
That does not seem like a wise thing to do. You're saying you can for 6, Mark?
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing anything else, I think. I'll do 7.
Okay, what's my strategy here? You got to figure out what
strategy?
Are you doing?
Why isn't he just bidding all the money he has to get the game?
Leftover money is a tiebreaker.
Yeah, we'll have some value.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have 7 as your number?
I will say 7.
I also like sticking it to Neelan. He's a desperate man at this point. So I'm going to go 10. Force you to spend all your money if you want to.
Sure, why not? I will take it for 11.
You're going to bid.
I will bid for 11.
You're bidding 11.
Sorry.
You're not taking it for 11. And you think this is going to get votes? You think people are going to be spending $700?
Well, I don't think that's the actual
game.
value of the game. To be clear. I could not tell you why it is. Oh well, I guess I do see why it is.
You know what? I think this is folly. Neelan. I think you're going to have it for 11.
Sure, I'll take it.
Okay.
I will take it for 11. So the thing I think that this is easily the thing I'm the least happy to have. But the question I'm running up against, I'm sure that what's going to happen is I'm going to very quickly discover what the pick is that is going to get more votes than this. But I'm looking at the list and there's not a lot that's jumping out at me, if I'm being honest.
It's good for that. Like you said, the video game fans presumably will be putting information, will be looking into it or writing stuff about it. So I see that.
But yeah, so I will be putting it squarely into number of votes, and there it will stay.
Okay. I think we should probably skip. If you're out of money, you probably should be skipping for proposing games because you'll propose like a garbage game. And
I think that's absolutely right.
Okay, so Kellen, you put up a game.
All right. I would like to put up the 2025 game Old King's Crown. Now, this game has some of the coolest art I've ever seen. Tons of hype, but the hype was sort of in a previous time. I don't feel like I see people talking about it much, but I'm hoping that the sort of groundswell as it delivers will get people. But yeah, Old King's Crown. I will start the bidding at $1.
Old King's Crown. This is a Ryan Lockett sort of situation where the designer is also the artist, so that's kind of cool. Pablo Clark, but it is Clark's first.
You've heard of this, right?
Game design. I have heard of it. I don't remember what I heard about it, but
I backed this for what it's worth. I think it looks cool. It's definitely always a gamble, I would say, with any Kickstarter game.
Of course, yeah.
The production is lovely, and it certainly did very, very well. So I think it is going to have that swell of people when it releases for sure.
And what is your number again, Kellen? Sorry,
this is $1.
$1. Okay, you got $1 on this one. I think I can fit it in for 2.
I'll do 5.
Old King's Crown. What do I know about Old King's Crown? $5, you say. I'm going to let you have it for 5.
Cool.
Is that a mistake, Neelan?
I don't know. I think 5 is a good price for it, certainly. I think it's just really hard to say.
Yeah,
okay, Kellen, what are you putting this in?
So I have $44. So the real question is number of votes, rank on BGG, or a listener favorite game. I think listener favorite could be where to place this, or rank, but definitely not number of votes. I am going to place this in listener game, and that's just so I'm now committed, Neelan. We will play this game. We will cover this game. There you get it, Neelan. I'm your guy for the Old King's Crown. So, Mark, I have $44. Neelan has no dollars. You have 53. $0. Is that right?
I have 48.
Oh, okay.
I spent 47 on Finspan, and I spent 5 on Luthier.
Okay.
And it's me to propose a game. I'm going to put up the re-theme of Imperium Star Trek Captain's Chair. This is by the design team of Imperium Classics, Imperium Legends. This is the reimagining of those games in the Star Trek world. This was one of the few games in researching this I added to my wish list because I think it...
Is this actually just Imperium rethemed?
I think it's the same sort of mechanisms.
Okay.
I don't think it's like a straight retheming of it. But I'm also banking on Kellen's clear and
disdain,
often-cited distaste of
How much did you
Star
bid?
Trek. I'm going 1. I'm not doing the same mistake. You burned me for that. The $5 opening bid. It was a classic rookie mistake.
I'll bid 5.
Where are you going to put this, Kellen? Where are you
I
going to
really
put this?
want this.
You bid 5. See, you just want me to get under your numbers so you can...
No, don't look at the math, bro.
I know what you're doing.
Don't look at the math. You're gonna let me get
go
this
6.
for $5? The one?
No,
game
I'm not. I'm
going
getting 6. I'm going 6. Relax. I'm going 6.
All right, I don't care anymore.
Okay, so I've got it. I'm going to put this in. Do our listeners like Star Trek? Our listeners. Will they go for this?
They won't stop talking about it.
They won't stop talking about it now because you're such a clear liar. And I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put this in rank. I feel like this could go up. I think this could be a game that's high on BGG. So I'm going to go rank Star Trek Captain's Chair. $6 takes me to 42 remaining. So me and Kellen both have 3 of 5.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I had it on my short list, but I don't know that Star Trek games ever like really break big.
I mean, it's already ranked high, right? As part
It
of the
is.
thing.
It absolutely is. But I think that there's a very heavy like churchy heavy card game factor there. But yeah, I don't.
That's all I need.
Yeah,
That's all I need. Mr. Liar. Mr. Sandbagger. Okay, so I guess I propose another one, or you want to propose one, Kellen? We go back and forth?
I will propose one, right? You just did this?
Okay. Yeah.
And what is that game ranked right now? Star Trek? 8.8?
It is 8.8. It's, yeah.
I will put out Dune Imperium Bloodlines. And you have how many dollars, Mark? 43?
42 to your 44.
All right, I'll bid $43.
What is going on with Dune Imperium Bloodlines? This is like an expansion?
This is an expansion to Dune Imperium. All the expansions to Dune Imperium have lots and lots of votes, number of votes, Dune Imperium Bloodline. Who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah,
It's just
I think
what
that's
wanted
smart.
to do.
That feels like exactly the thing I was looking for and didn't.
I mean, I don't know because
Fine.
it's like not currently. It's not currently ranked. Like it's not.
But it's. I
EA.
think you're right in saying that it's a sure lock for something that will get a lot of votes.
Yeah,
Like
or at
there are
least-
certainly
I
a lot
don't
of
know.
people that will have something to say about it. I don't know.
I think it'll get more than 3,000, right? Which at this point, and it just got another 10-star review from me, 10 out of 10. Super excited
Okay.
about it.
You're at what?
I am at $1.
Okay, I'm going 2. I'm not going to let you do that. There's no chance.
Wait, what?
I'm going 2.
Oh no! Sorry,
I'm hurt.
sorry.
Oh, God.
You didn't hear me. You're gonna have to listen to the tape back. I said, Mark, how much money do you have?
I said 42.
And then I said, I bid 43. Dune Imperium Blood.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I now have $1 because I have bid all my money on this.
I see. And you're putting this in votes, you said?
I am putting this in number of votes on BGG. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a dramatic flourish. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's great.
It's not always about the
yeah.
winning, but it's how you get there.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. You're a showman, if nothing else. Okay, so I've got BGB listeners, and then I've got my wallet card. So I'm happy about having the wallet card, but what are our listeners going to like? What are our listeners going to like?
Just realized I have to pray that The Witcher actually comes out this year.
That makes it way funnier if it
love
doesn't.
that.
Neil.
Yeah.
I think a couple of mine are Kickstarters, so
I need to tap into the listeners. Okay, I'm going to put up Zenith. Partially because I think this game is now available on BGA. Is that right? And I just want it to be in the consciousness. It's got tech trees. It's a tug of war aspect. I don't know very much about it.
And this is
Very, very-
right? Like it's clear we have no money left.
well, I have $1.
Oh, you have
so
He's got
he
$1.
Can,
He's
he
got
can.
$1. Oh, so
have
I can
this
just take it for
$2.
$2, yeah, or $1. I can take it for $1. So I will take Zenith for $1.
Well, you don't have
Oh,
any
I-
dramatic bone in your body, is what we're hearing.
I don't have any. I don't have any dramatic.
Nealon has a flair for it because he lied through his teeth to us. I have it because I made such a handsome bit.
You and I were both doing the exact same thing for Elder Scrolls.
Run the tape, bro.
$2, $3.
Run the tape. I was the one. Come on, Neil.
I'm going to be a gentleman and make it $2, even though I can win it for $1. But I'm going to be dramatic flair. There's my dramatic flair.
Wow, yeah.
Flair.
You
Mine's
paid twice,
my
so could have.
Zenith,
50%.
Zenith for $2. I'm going to put it in my wild card. Zenith $2 wild card.
Okay, I
have this to say about Zenith. I have played it on VGA, and it's terrible.
Oh,
I don't think it's terrible. Maybe that's harsh, but I think it's.
You
I think
you
it's
just
like
spent
fine.
$2.
Nealon was the nice guy on this podcast, and he
I know.
just
Tell the
completely
auction.
turned heel.
No,
Completely
people
turned
do
heel.
seem to like it. It's got a lot of high ratings, so like I'm obviously like an outlier, but I thought it was boring as hell.
All right,
Well, I'm putting in a wild card, so I got some flexibility there. But now
all right.
my dreams have been crushed.
There's a strategy called best pick available that they use in the drafting, so I will do that here. I am saying for $1, I would like to buy Galactic Cruise, a 2025 release. It's currently ranked 8.3, just under top 5,000. Ian O'Toole is the artist. That's about how much I know on here. Action points, hand management, science fiction. It looks cool.
Yeah, it does look cool.
You're gonna put this in where now?
Put it in rank.
That's actually a good spot for it.
That's the only
a
thing
good
I
spot
have.
for it. Yeah.
So you can have it, but
Yeah, I just don't think this is going to be. I have BGB listeners. I don't think
yeah,
it's going to be a listener. So yeah, you can have it.
I think it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say too much. What you guys
But you can
Galactic
now, 'cause
fight over it.
Cruise.
But yeah, I think actually a heavy Euro game, but Ian O'Toole art. It does feel very BGB listener.
It just feels like it's basically like, does Mark have a game already picked out for his?
Yeah,
I don't.
be
I
better.
don't. That's the sad thing. The sad
Oh.
thing is I don't have a game picked
Well,
up.
trust yourself. Don't trust me. You know what I mean? That's what I always say to Christina. What?
Oh boy, what am I going to pick? So I'm going to spend $1 here, and the rest of my 39 are converted. What's my victory? It's like 10-1 victory points.
No.
So I'll have 3 victory points from leftover money. So that'll help. No, I'm just kidding. God, I need our listeners. I need them to communicate to me.
From beyond the grave, right?
From beyond the grave. From beyond the grave. Okay, I'm going to spend $1. I'm going to go Lacerda. I think I'm going to
Never go full Lacerda.
I'm going full Lacerda. $1. If only it was $1 to buy this game, am I right? Speakeasy. I'm going Speakeasy. Lacerda's game about prohibition, presumably. Looks gorgeous. Ian O'Toole, gorgeous. Lavish production. Great. Well-known designer. I'm looking at this game. I'm loving everything about it. It screams BGB listener, so I'm taking it.
Yeah, I think that's a good BGB listener pick for the same reason as Galactic Cruise.
Neil, and I don't hear a thing from you anymore.
All the lies.
Actually, I played this on VGA and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to win the tiebreaker, so at least there's that. So let's go over the picks here. So again, you can go to boardgamebarrage.com/auction and vote on whoever you thought had the best auction. So Kellen, he picked for wildcard Arydia. What is it called? What's the full thing?
Arydia, the path we dare tread.
The pass we dare tread. He started the auction big with $46 on that. For this consensus game, Transgalactica. For his BGB listener game, The Old King's Crown. For the game with the most votes, Dune Bloodlines. And for the game of the highest rank, Galactic Cruise. For Nealon, he went for highest ranking game, Puerto Rico. For BGB listeners, Molly House. For wildcard, Nemesis Retaliation. For Critics' Choice, Elder Scrolls. And for votes, The Witcher. For me, I went votes, Finspan. Critics' Choice, Luthier. For rank, Star Trek, Captain's Chair. For wildcard, Zenith. And for BGB games, Speakeasy. So again, go to boardgamebarrage.com/auction. Vote on the list you like the best. We'll pick one person to get a $50 gift card, and you will potentially be giving whoever you think has the best list an early edge in the scoring. It'll be 3 points for the winners, 2 for second place, and 1 for third. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you, as always, to Heart Society for our intro and outro song, What's on Your Mind, Kid? You can contact us at boardgamebarrage@gmail.com. You can find us on all forms of social media. Again, if you're going to Dice Tower West, let us know. Maybe we can see you there. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.